first of all, when we were in the EU and the Europeans came up with these ideas, beef hormone ban, banning pathogen reduction treatments, which is the so-called chlorinated,
Yeah.
even though chlorine is not used, chicken issue. We abstained. The UK abstained from the pathogen reduction treatment ban, the chlorine ban. Um, one of only 27, one of the only one of the 27 that abstained, and we actually outright voted against the beef hormone ban
Yeah.
on the basis that these were not consistent with sound science. They were WTO violations, which they are, and now somehow, now that we're out of the EU, we can't live without them. So so
Sure.
so it's and on this whole issue, I point out to my friends in the UK, you do realize that the chicken you produce would not be sellable or marketable in the US because you don't use pathogen reduction
Right.
treatments. The incidence of Campylobacter is 5 times as much in the UK as the US. The US would say your chicken is not fit for human consumption. You're going to
Right.
make us sick. They wash their salads in pathogen in chlorine washes. They wash their fish in chlorine washes. There's no earthly reason why they shouldn't do this. Then they'll come back and say, "Well, it's not about that. It's about animal welfare." The
Right.
Americans treat their chicken so poorly that
Right.
they have to do this to avoid the bacteria.
Right.
So you then say, okay, so let's look at the stocking density of poultry in the US and compare it with the UK, and you find that actually there's a big range. And in fact, the UK falls pretty much in the middle of that range. There are plenty of organic poultry. In fact, there's organic poultry in the US farmed on an area the size of Wales, so they could
Right.
easily satisfy any
Crazy.
UK demand. With I think the US ambassador famously said, if the Brits want to eat a chicken raised as somebody's family pet, they can.
Yes.
This is what you can do, and there's plenty of non-hormone treated beef as well. But we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that there's a series of regulations, not just in the SPS area, but also in the technical area, technical barriers to trade,
Mm.
standards areas, where the EU operates a highly distortionary system
Sure.
that is designed to favor European manufacturers and disfavor manufacturers from other countries. And that has been the basic, the most significant area of complaint that the US and others have had. There are 31 countries, by the way, not just the US, Canada, Brazil, India, all kinds of countries, developing countries alike, who have complained about the EU's SPS regime in the WTO.